Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Welcome back, guys. Yeah, by the way, I do a ton of Instagram lives now where I smoke and we listen to music. So you should come do that. Go follow me there so we could do that. You guys could join in. Today I want to talk about quarantine. You might be like, hey, you stupid fuck. The quarantine's over. Yeah. For now, until you nasty cunts all start going out and just fucking each other and shit. It's gonna be like an old person's home, yo. It's gonna be so much COVID and STDs. You might still be quarantining or watching this now in a new quarantine we have. Or you might just be curious on my thoughts of what I would do during quarantine, okay? So I kind of self-isolate and quarantine all the time. You might need to self-isolate if you start to learn and shit about like wanting to be an entrepreneur and things like that, because you're gonna have to self-isolate. You're gonna have to stay away from people. You're gonna have to not do most things, right? Because that takes time out of your day, right? So I've self-isolated multiple times in my life. Most of the time, I'm usually alone, actually, which is preferred, right? Because if you're with people all the time, if you have a need to be with people or constantly be with other people, you probably found that out recently that you have that need, right? If you were going through quarantine, like you, let me just make sure it's still recording. Like maybe you were so used to just always being around other people and shit, you were never with yourself, and then now you're with yourself and you're like, fuck, I don't like myself at all. Because, I brought up this experiment before. There's an experiment where people would leave people in a room. Well, first they would administer a shock to the person, right? And they would say, "Would you want that shock ever again?" Of course, the person would say, "No, I would never want that shock ever again." And then they leave the room. They go, "Okay, we'll be back in 15 minutes. You just sit here, hang out, and we'll be back." So usually, I think it's above 65%. I want to say 80, but above 65% of people. I should check this, but it doesn't really fucking matter. You can look it up. There's a YouTube original, a video about this with Michael from Vsauce, where he talks about within 3 to 5 minutes, 65 to 80% of people will press the fucking button to administer a shock to themselves, because that's the only way that they can stimulate themselves. They can't stimulate, right? Because they're not allowed to just jerk off, okay? They weren't like, you can do anything you want in here. Just, beat your cock. There's magazines over there. Home Goods. Real sexy. Is that a magazine? Home Goods? It would make sense. If there isn't, that should be a magazine, and I would beat off to it. There's nothing I can't jerk off to. Anyway, so you might be being at home being like, oh my God, like having anxiety, having something might be coming up. There might be something where you're sitting alone and you're like, I don't like this. I don't like me. I don't know. I don't know. See, because like I got to a point at one point in my life where I was able to sit. It was when my dad was alive, right? I was able to get to a point where we were going to the movies and I was just able to sit in the car. There was no music on. I just have a good time in my head, just thinking, right? About anything I wanted. Inwardly, inwardly about the human race, outwardly, intellectually type shit like that, anything. And I think a lot of that, if you read, that helps, right? With self-entertaining. So I wasn't really sure what to title this, like how to quarantine or how to self-entertain. I think how to quarantine is better because I think that's probably going to happen again, or people are curious, and that's self-entertain. I already know how to masturbate. They're not going to click on that. But, during this quarantine, I don't know how long it was. All right. Let's say 3 months. It doesn't matter. Even if it was like 3 weeks. But it was like, let's just say 3 months. That's what it feels like. Like if you did not come out with a new skill, new hobby, skinnier or better, just better in any way, use this time to rest, heal, whatever you needed, you lost. You totally lost. That's not good. This was a time that so many people should have used to better themselves in any way they find possible, right? In any way they would find productive or do anything they want to do, right? Like in 3 months, you could change your life. In any way, with your body, with your career, with anything, reading shit, learning a new language, and just fucking put it on the list. That's 90 days. That's a lot. But there's people like YouTubers who like don't, like, some people still had jobs, some people didn't, but you had probably more time on your hands. More people probably had more time on their hands because things were closed. And you can't fucking work all day, right? So this is a problem that I'm also trying to work out. So like I have a problem with like having fun. Like I don't know what to do to have fun. So that's something that I need to figure out. Which sounds so stupid with me telling you how to self-entertain, right? When saying I don't know how to have fun. Because like self-entertaining, like entertaining things don't have to be fun. You don't have to be playing volleyball, going skateboarding to be having fun, or playing fucking video games, like wasting your time and shit. Like reading can be fun, learning things can be fun. Like solving malaria is fun. That kind of changed my life hearing that, because you don't want to do things that are just blissfully fun. You don't want to be blissfully happy, right, during this quarantine. Like there's never a time. You should not be blissfully happy all the time, 24/7. Okay, like there's life. Like life happens, right? You should have things that get in your way, that challenge you, right? And this quarantine probably took a lot of challenges away from people, right? People probably gained weight. People probably, I don't know, suicide rate probably increased. I'm not really sure. There's probably a lot of mental health things increased. A lot of people going to therapists and shit like that, and psychiatrists, guaranteed. That has to be true. I mean, that's so weird, because like the suicide rate is higher than Auschwitz. So very weird. Because this can help at any time. That's why I was not sure of saying self entertain or quarantine, but I guess we could do like how to self quarantine. Maybe it will be the title. Like you need to figure out a couple of things, right? So you need to have something that makes you money, right? So that could be your job. And then that'll take energy away from you. But then you need to find a hobby, but you're like, remember, energy is finite, right? So you need to build up, you have like a battery of willpower and energy, and you need to, and it can be strengthened. You can strengthen that battery, and you can have more willpower and more energy, more finite energy as you work on this, as you mentally toughen, right? I used to be able to literally work all fucking day and then just go to sleep type shit. Now I can't do that. So now I have to find something to do to try and rest at night. It's fucking terrible. But to self-isolate and stuff, if it's new to you, finding something new can give you more energy, right? Like, for instance, if I was just finishing this video and I was uploading it onto the computer and stuff, and I got sick of kind of just looking at screens and all that shit. What if I just started to like work on jewelry and stuff, right? Like I have like a bunch of jewelry kit, jewelry saws, all that stuff. It's a different hobby that I don't do as a job. That might make you excited enough and invigorate you enough, me, to get back to what I was doing, right? Or that could be like the gym for a lot of people. That could be something. That could be anything you want to do, right? But this was also a time of this quarantine sped things up, a lot of things. I think a lot of things are going to come from this, because if you've read the 4-Hour Work Week, you're going to be like, oh shit. Like if you worked for a company, right, and you read the 4-Hour Work Week, and then you were trying to get to convince your boss to let you work from home, and then this just happens, you're just like, oh, there's a God. Oh my God, right? Like you're like, I just read this, you did this for me, thank you. A lot of people are gonna get fired. A lot of people are gonna realize they need to be at the office for 8 hours. They don't need to be at the office at all. They definitely don't need to do it for 8 hours. Probably half. That's probably most jobs anyway. You get the done work half the time. Wow, that looks broken. Okay. Just look at one of my shoe racks. It's completely snapped. Huh. Well, just gotta throw out some shoes, I guess. But this is like if you were feeling any anxiety or depression or anything like that, that is something you need to definitely seek a therapist out, a doctor, or professional help for. Yeah, 100%. There's no other way to do that. You can go online, you can go on YouTube, look at all that shit. Because I mean, I would definitely, even if it was just from quarantine, bringing upon this depression or whatever for you and this pandemic, I think you should still talk to somebody or something, if something like that, if you're feeling that type of way, right? Prior to this, I had depression and anxiety anyway. So I was doing all that anyway, and I know that's good. And even if it like I fixed it, I'll probably always go to a therapist because it's always good to have an unbiased opinion about problems you have or things that you can't, I guess, talk about with other people, where they legally have to keep it to themselves, right? But with what I was saying, with if you didn't come out with something, you lost, right? And that's not me trying to make you feel bad, but you should. Did you waste your fucking time, man? What did you do during this quarantine, right? Did you work? I don't know. If you had free time, what'd you use that free time on is what I want to know. Did you finally start that YouTube channel you wanted to do? Did you get your mental health in order? Did you start writing that comic book? Did you start making that video game? Did you start making that hot sauce? You start writing those stand-up bits? What did you start doing? You start working out? You start on the heavy bag? Like, what are the things that you learned? Did you start reading more? Did you do nothing? This was a huge opportunity to find a passion. I'll make a video about how to find a passion. Real quickly, how to find a passion is do everything that comes to your mind that you might want to do until you're like, fuck, nah, I wouldn't want to do that shit. I hate this. And cut your losses and move on to the next. And then there's going to be a lot of mockery and a lot of hate. And a lot of people are going to think you're a quitter and not going to like you, right? People will take you trying to better yourself as an insult to them. Like, oh, who the fuck are you, huh? Who the fuck do you think you are bettering yourself? What? Are you God? You playing God now? Huh? You think you're better than me? Yeah. Actually, yeah. If let's say this is a good example. So, let's say you, right, and your group of friends, you took this quarantine to become a better person, right? You objectively are a better person after this quarantine than you were prior because you took this time to follow your passion or read or do whatever I said prior. Your friend, on the other hand, just sat at home, played video games, gained a little bit of weight, and got kind of depressed. Who's a better person now? I'm not saying that you're bad. I have depression, right? I'm not saying you're a bad person for becoming depressed and stuff like that, but you should have taken action, right? You should do your due diligence. You should know that taking care of yourself. Most people take care of other people, and most people take care of their pets better than they take care of themselves, right? Because most people don't like themselves, which makes sense. Why the fuck would you, right? I've been listening to way too much Jordan Peterson, right? Because that's not an original thought of mine of why would you like yourself. Right, because I have to reverse engineer it of learning how I used to love myself, right? But now that I have this anxiety and depression, I'm like ashamed of it, which is very, I think, natural for a man probably my age. I think it's going to be less shameful for people younger. I think just because, I don't know, raised by old fucking people, and I'm not blaming them, right? I don't know, just emotions and stuff throughout the years have been taught to be bad, but like I'm ashamed because I would hate this person, right? Of somebody who has panic attacks and stuff and things like that. How did I get into? See, this is why I posted about needing a Jamie. A Jamie is the Joe Rogan Jamie, or at least say it. You know what I'm saying? A co-host would be like, you were talking about this, right? Not cock. Like, stop talking about your cocks. Get back to the person who asked about the death of a parent, Mark, please. They need this answer, right? Whatever, man. But really, okay, so if you didn't do anything, what can you do? No, you shouldn't just pop yourself now because you didn't do anything during the quarantine, okay? Even if you did a little bit, right? Like, what did I do during the quarantine? I was just working on my mental health and just figuring out what makes me happy, what I want to do, trying to figure that out. And I pretty much did. Right at the end of quarantine, I kind of bounced back, right? Watching stand-up made me extremely happy. So I know that's definitely something I have to do. I love doing this. I know that for a fact. I know that I wanted to stop with the 90-day, right, and change it up because I've been doing that for so long. 90 days too big, right? I just refocused. I took a step back and all that jazz. That's what you got to do, especially at the 2-year mark is when I started to try and take a step back. So since 2 to 2.5 months, right? I would say 2 years to 2.5 years. There was I don't know. I feel like I really haven't done much with Wineboxpapi in the past year. And that's objectively true, which is good. I don't know. Just gonna figure it out. Right? What I kind of do know, but that's not, just to go off on a little tangent here. I mean, obviously, we're going to do the No Night Ad, like I said. We'll do one No Night Ad. We're going to make fun of my first Wineboxpapi video ever made. We are going to probably make fun of cringy text messages a lot. I love those. Just have some fun. Whatever seems like fun to make fun of. And whatever seems meaningful to talk about, I need to do Poppy Code again, but I want to rebrand that. I don't know. Poppy Code's fine, I guess. It doesn't really matter. The name doesn't matter at all. I've said that. But I do want to get back into helping and answering questions and stuff. And, that also helps me as well. But what you can do now is kind of what I just said. If you are coming out of this quarantine and are like, oh my God, I am literally everything you just said. I didn't do anything. I did not put in any effort towards my life, like I have been my entire life, right? You might be, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people are pretty content, pretty complacent in their lives, I feel like. And that's not me saying you. I'm just saying a lot of people. I would say the overwhelming majority actually are pretty complacent. Okay, for instance, I feel like a lot of people who live in this town, I live around like Algonquin, Schaumburg area. I feel like a lot of people in these towns, they're like, I'm going to die here, yo. This is it. I'm born here, live here, die here. I love my hometown bar. Fuck that, dude. I would rather just die here than live it out and die. You know what I'm saying? If they're like, hey, man, you could live here for 60 years and do that, what you just said, or you could pop yourself right now. Before they finished right now, I would have popped myself. You feel me? Like, that's why we go into LA. I'd rather be fucking in a little studio apartment the size of this loft than be in this fucking town. Jesus Christ. That's my anger. It's just, you could feel it. I could feel it. I could feel the energy of the people. Right? It's weird. It's gross. It's boring. It's death. It's slow. In LA, people think they have it. They think they're the one. You can feel the energy of everybody just trying so hard. Or maybe it's just, I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. But out here, nobody does shit. Right? That's not true. Not nobody. I have podcasts coming out where I have people coming on. But you know what I mean comparatively, of course. But I think this is a time to reflect on maybe your quarantine, right? Maybe this is a time to start using what you did. Okay, look at the past. Look at your quarantine. Look at all that free time you had during your quarantine, and look at all the free time you have now. Right? Did you build a new habit, a new bad habit that took up the free time? For instance, video games that aren't being streamed. Right? Like, take 3 hours of video games is a fucking waste of time. Right? I don't care if it brings you happiness. 3 hours of video games is bad. I mean, I guess if you're paying the bills and you're fine. 3 hours of video every day is, I guess it's fine. You can do what you want. But to me, man, I don't know. I really don't, right? Because at what point is there a what is it? What's the fucking word I'm looking for? It's a business term. Diminishing returns. The diminishing returns on video games is very, very low, just like on most consumable entertainment and with most people. Diminishing returns speaking to them, right? Like you're only gonna get so much out of it, right? You could learn a lot of what not to do by people, but a lot of people already teach you what not to do. A lot of people are very similar. I think this one might be a shorter podcast, it seems like, because really, really, all in all, like, to quarantine, right, to stay at home and go out for only what you need is what I do anyway, right, with work. I really don't go out. Like, my thing is to go out, like, once every 3 months or so, once every couple months or so, but work my fucking ass off. That's all I like to do. What else are you going to do? Work takes up the majority of your life and time. You might as well. I figured out what I like to do, right? So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna keep doing that. But other people should as well, you know, or at least notice that there's extra time you have. I guess if you don't care about, if you're happy with where you are, but there's something you want to fix. Reflect on your quarantine time. What happened during quarantine? What you did and why you did it. How you felt and how you reacted when you felt, right? Could it have been better if you started a project? Would you be in a better place right now if you had started a project at the beginning of quarantine? Did you take it as a vacation? Maybe you needed it. Maybe this was the time you needed off, right? I needed the time off. But it would also have greatly, greatly benefited me to create a bunch of content, but not a bunch of mediocre content, right? So you have to kind of weigh out the pros and cons, right? So for me, I just worked on me turning 25, losing your father and then turning 25 and being your own boss and all this stuff is a lot of shit. That's a lot. There's a lot of stuff to go through, into your brain to work on, and stuff. And there's a lot of things that most people don't go through, so you can't like ask people like, "Hey, man, when your dad died when you were 23 while creating your own full-time business where you're your boss and you didn't have to listen to anybody. What did you do when you became depressed?" Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't. It's really niche. You need, like, I don't know. Why did I even bring that up? I guess it's kind of like everybody's so niche. You shouldn't rely on other people or internet or friends and stuff. Like, you should. I think everybody should go to a therapist, probably, honestly. Everybody should, because you don't, like a cognitive behavioral therapist, because you don't fucking know shit. You don't know anything about yourself. You really don't. You really don't, right? Like, aside from, like, like, all of the wrongs you've done, right? So here's some Jordan Peterson, right? Like, you hate people and you know only a couple of the bad things they did. And you know all the bad things you did. That's a burden, man. How can you like yourself? If you hate somebody, you know a couple of the bad things they did, how can you even like yourself? You know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to look at, I would say, I guess this is me teaching myself as well, right? I was gonna say others selfishly. How do I say that in a good way, right? Like, just kind of look at humanity inwardly, right? That's what you should do. I don't know why people don't do that. That doesn't make. I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense. Like, if you're mad at somebody about something they're doing, why are you mad at them? Like, if you're mad at them for being a loud chewer, you probably chew loud. According to all of my exes, I'm a loud chewer. And I fucking hate when people chew loud. You know what I'm saying? If I'm trying to find another good example, I don't know, I'm pretty perfect. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I don't know. But I would use this either new upcoming quarantine, because people are going out and I see that COVID cases are rising in certain areas. There might be more quarantines. So use this time to reflect on your last quarantine, and definitely reflect on the last quarantine for your next quarantine. Because if you are gonna survive ever. There's probably gonna be another one since they found out they can do it. For $1,200, they better raise that motherfucker to $2,000 a month or something. I swear to God, bro, $1,200 was not enough. Not enough. I got this camera though. That was cool. That was tight. Imagine if to pay this shit back. That would really, holy fuck. That would be. I'd probably pop myself. That'd probably be. I'd be like, oh, you gave us $1,200 to say. I thought that was just money. You want the money back? I don't believe in that. You're an Indian giver. I don't want to give it back. Okay, guys. I think we're going to end it right there. I think it's just to even look at your day. Look at the time you use. How much time of it do you waste? Is it wasted time? Why is it wasted time? And what could you be using it on? Right? Same with the quarantine. Like, what could you have done? What could you be doing now? I have on my whiteboard is what you're doing now going to benefit your tomorrow? Is what you're doing now going to benefit your tomorrow? Is what you're doing right now. Is you watching this going to benefit your tomorrow? I hope so. That's why I make it. I want it to be meaningful. I want you to take away from this, learn from this, implement this, see if it's wrong. See if I'm fucking wrong. I could be completely wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong if you practice this shit. Give me what you did. Give me your thoughts, your ideas. That's what this is about. I'm just a 25-year-old kid. Remember? I'm going to be a 50-year-old kid. Because everybody knows less than, like they know less than what they could, right? It's you can never know more than what you don't know, right? You're always stupid. You're always a stupid fuck forever. I love you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope we can all kind of just make ourselves less stupid fucks together by utilizing this amazing platform. If they don't take, amazing platform. I don't know if we want to go that far, but this great it's called amazing platform to connect with each other. All right, follow me everywhere. Message me, DM me. I'll be maybe doing an advice one soon on this channel. Look for the post on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. I love you guys. If you guys want to support me, patreon.com/wineboxpapi. Links for everything down below. We got merch, tons of shit. Check all that out. Thank you so much. If you can't or if you don't want to, I completely understand. Like this shit, share it around, comment, show your friends. I'm just trying to make, just put more good into the earth. Put more good into the world. There's a lot of bad anyway. Why make it worse? So just trying to give a little bit of knowledge or wisdom or anything I think could help you. Think that could be of your use, no matter what you do as a human being. I want it to be useful for you as a person, as an individual, because that's what matters the most, is the individual, right? Because then the waves it just sprinkles out to all the other individuals. And that's everybody. So thank you so much for watching. Mwah.